Welcome to this episode of Let's Talk 716 Sports. Today, my guests are Steve Pellegrino and Tom Pepper. We will be talking Sabres hockey. How do you guys think the season is going so far?
Want me to start? It's an interesting one. They've shown a lot of potential, but this is not the result they wanted. They're sitting at 500 right now, and they've just been overall. I find them very inconsistent. They came out very well. A lot of people were hating on them the first few losses against the Caps and the Flyers, but I think a lot of people are forgetting it was the Caps and the Flyers. This is the Buffalo Sabres against the Caps and the Flyers holding their own. Like that was already an accomplishment coming out when these two teams had just been in the playoffs a few months ago. Sabres have been off for almost a year and they're holding their own against them. They've shown a lot of potential, but inconsistency has really been the issue here. They come out some nights and they're just sloppy play. And that's what I've seen so far. What have you?
So it's been a crazy season. I really don't know what to think sometimes. Kruger makes lineup decisions, and I want to wring his neck. And they just seem horrible, but somehow they work out. And they look good on the charts. The analytics say they're good. They haven't been winning, but like you said, they look great against the Flyers and the Capitals, and then they look like crap against the Rangers and the Devils, who aren't good teams.
Yeah, which is interesting because we thought that was when they were going to redeem themselves and come back and get the wins. But
so they're kind of so far playing to the level of competition. This COVID thing throws a whole wrench in the whole thing because even if they're playing good, they're probably going to have a condensed schedule the rest of the way. So we'll see how it goes. The one thing that's been in their favor is talking about advanced stats. Their PDO, which is basically the stats for puck luck. It's a team's on ice save percentage plus on ice shooting percentage. It's been incredibly low.
Yeah.
And PDO is a completely random stat, but with it as low as it is, it's got to bounce back. They got to have some positive regression. The goalies might stay bad all year, but Jeff Skinner, Jack Eichel, Taylor Hall, they're not all gonna shoot 5% all year. That's gonna come back up.
Yeah, it is very interesting, especially Jeff Skinner. I'm finding the amount of posts or misses it by an inch.
So snake bit.
I don't think I've seen a player miss and come so close that many times.
The amount of times this year you just see him looking up to the ceiling because he just knows he should have buried it.
Yeah, and then also Hall and Eichel just aren't. They're supposed to be the ones putting the puck in the net, and it's not happening.
It'll click eventually.
Yeah, they're not going to shoot like this low percentage all season. Like this is Eichel and Taylor Hall we're talking about here. If it stays like this, then it's not. I couldn't see this happening, but we'll see what happens. This COVID break will be pretty interesting to see how they bounce back. I know Kruger was talking a lot about how the team's going to come together and stuff through this, and they've battled all these COVID issues. So hopefully that's what they take out of this. They kind of take it as this is team improvement, kind of team bonding, get through the adversity, come back to the season stronger.
Yeah.
Whenever they end up playing. Right now it's supposed to be the Islanders. They just canceled their next 2 games, so we'll postpone them.
Yeah, they were supposed to be back Thursday. I'm not sure when they're actually supposed to be back now. I haven't looked because I'm expecting it might get pushed back again.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Hopefully everything's all right there. And I know they said Ralph Kruger's being looked after by doctors. He's symptomatic, but we haven't heard anything too bad, at least yet. I mean, there's not a ton of clarity with these situations, but it sounds positive. They had some players back at practice today, so looks like things are starting to roll.
Definitely, and I would just like to say, anyone who follows me on Twitter knows I've been as critical of Ralph Kruger as anybody out there. I'd like to say, like, genuinely, Ralph, like, I wish you all the best. I wish him nothing but a full and speedy recovery and hope he's okay.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, I listened to the press conference today with our general manager, Kevin Adams, and he said that Ralph Kruger was like symptomatic. He tested positive for COVID. I mean, I hope he's okay from
Yeah, you gotta hope so. He's 61, so he's at a higher risk than
high risk.
Yeah.
It sounds like they said he's getting good care from the doctors and the team training staff, so fingers crossed he can get back as soon as possible behind the bench.
How do you think the general manager and the coach and like all the team doctors and that are handling the COVID and contact tracing?
It's it's still kind of unclear what really went down in New Jersey. So in terms of that, that's obviously not. I don't think that's on the Sabres. That's something's weird there. I don't really know what's going on. I don't think Kevin Adams knows exactly what's going on. I know he said he was calling a lot with Bill Daly. It was very. I talked about it a bit on Twitter. I think it's a ridiculous situation that this happened. The fact that, first of all, the Devils had a bunch of guys on COVID protocols going into the game in New Jersey, game 1. They play game 1, and then Paul Mary gets pulled out after game 1 to get put on COVID protocols, and they go ahead and play the second game. That, to me, is just, I really don't understand. I don't see how, if there's a player playing in the first game and he's taken out because he has potential exposure to COVID, how do you play the rest of it? Don't they technically all have potential exposure to COVID then? So I don't know what to say about that. That's just, it better not happen again.
Yeah, it's kind of infuriating, and it's totally on the league. It's not on the Sabres. If you read John Vogel's article in The Athletic, he talked about how the Sabres requested more information from the Devils and from the league, and the league denied the request, and they feel like they were forced to play Sunday when it wasn't safe for their players to do so. They feel like they were forced into the situation. And, you know, the league, they're standing firm on, I think the rationale is, well, there's no basis for on-ice transfer during play. Well, that game, that weekend proves it. And the lineman from that game that tested positive now or is in COVID protocol proves it. And I mean, the NFL, there's data from the NFL that there was no on-field transmission in the NFL. Well, guess what? They play outside, and they have a huge bench area where they can mask and they be separated. Hockey is played indoors. You have changes on the fly, so you can't wear a mask on the bench because you got to be able to change on the fly. And the bench is much tinier than it is in football. So whatever, whatever precedent they were taking from the NFL, they should have known better. And no game should have taken place if anybody on the other team that had been in the building tested positive.
Yeah, it's really disappointing to see. Also, they've got around 100 players on COVID protocols right now as we speak, and you just think about how well the playoffs went. They really set it up for all the other leagues. They were the role model league. No COVID, all their protocols perfect. They went straight through. And obviously, this is a lot more difficult now that the teams are traveling around and going between places. But when you see totally preventable situations like this, it's just ridiculous in my opinion.
Yeah, and Tom, like you said, 100 players, that's 10% of the league.
Yeah.
I know, people have said that, the NFL had early troubles too. Major League Baseball had early troubles. I don't know if they ever had 10% of their league COVID protocol. I think that's pretty ridiculous. I'm actually worried because now Philly has been placing players on COVID protocol too. They might be the next outbreak. But I'm worried that we might see the season get suspended.
It's something it's come across my mind. It is concerning. Just think we're 20% of the way through about now, and just every day you look through the upcoming NHL games and it's postponed. There's they got to pull it together here. They have to increase protocol. They got to start enforcing things better. This could literally just turn into a total.
Yeah, they might have to take a month off and then go into 4 bubbles.
Yeah, and it would be really unfortunate because they've tried to schedule this so they can kind of get back to a regular season schedule next year. But
which I think no matter what, they will be done by mid-July because of the Olympics. NBC will not let them play or is not going to be happy or probably just want to air games if it was during the Olympics because of their broadcast rights for the Olympics. And then it's you could take a break between playoff rounds, but I really think they're adamant they want to start next season by early to mid-October because Seattle's coming in and they want to start that on time. Hopefully, I think they're planning to start it on time, hopefully with fans.
Yeah. And they're really gonna have to sort out this situation if that's all gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's not going well so far. So I know they added some extra protocols the other day, but we'll see if that's enough.
Yeah. Which I really don't understand the what removing the glass behind the boards accomplishes.
Yeah.
I don't think they're spreading out behind the bench, so I really don't get what removing the glass does. But
we'll see if it works.
If they think it circulates the air a little better, sure, why not?
And the other part of the question was how the coaching and management was, right? Overall, I one of the issues, the most common thing you can bring up is Jeff Skinner being shelved down there on the 4th line, which is kind of it's mixed with me because I guess it's maybe Kruger trying to say prove that you deserve to be on one of the top lines, score me a goal, and he hasn't. But the arguing fact is he has been one of the most noticeable players every time he steps on the ice. He's getting so close. He might as well have a few goals on the season by now, and his stats right now, having 1 assist, no goal, that does not represent how well he's actually played. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think he should be deserving of an upper spot on the lines?
So I absolutely hated when they put him on the 4th line. It's put him with Eichel, put him with Stahl, put him with somebody who can actually get him in opportunities to score. Because it's the MO on him is he can't drive a line. He's a trigger man. Well, I got a stat for you here. 57% expected goal share. When he is on the ice with Lazar and Sheehan, they are absolutely dominating shot quality.
Yeah.
They're getting way more and better opportunities than the other team. Skinner's just not burying them. And you know what? From your third, fourth line, I will take that expected goal share. And they're at a 60% goal for share. Like which there's only been 5 goals scored when they're on the ice. They're currently scoring more than they're giving up too. They're positive in goal differential. That line is not a problem right now. It's controlling play. You like to see Skinner score, but it's like here's the thing is I don't think anyone you put with him is going to improve his shooting percentage. Like no line mate is going to change how he's shooting the puck when he's generating that kind of quality. The only thing that might help is if you find some kind of net front presence to put on that line to, get some deflections or bang home some rebounds.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't have a problem with him on that line right now. As long as it's working. If it stops working, break it up. I just don't know who else you put him with at this point because Olofsson, he's been rough at 5-on-5. He really needs to be with Eichel.
Great on the power play though.
Yeah, he needs to put him with Eichel and Reinhart because they will carry him and it'll make his bad 5-on-5 play look fine. Put Hall with Eric Stahl because he looks awful anytime he doesn't have a bet. Anytime Stahl is the best player on the ice, it's a problem because, he's had a great career, but he's lost a few steps and he just can't carry that line. But he's been good with Hall. He's been good with Reinhart. Put him with Hall and just let then Skinner carry that bottom line. And even Eakin's line, they were fine until you put Okposo on that line.
Yeah.
So it's like right now you essentially have one or two lines with the Eichel line and the Skinner line. You make a couple tweaks and they actually could have 4 lines running.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. But I do think Kevin Adams has put together a great roster for this season. And again, like you mentioned, a few tweaks, and this team could have even had the amount of close games they've had, the winnable games. They could be in a playoff spot right now, but they're not. That's just how it's fallen. But I'm still very confident in their odds this season to at least lock up fourth in the division. But we'll see. I think they're going to be in the running.
Yeah, I'd still like another goalie, especially if the schedule gets condensed. I honestly would do whatever it takes, bring in some decent goalie, and then carry 3 NHL goalies. If you're going to be playing, they got 46 games in 60 days or whatever, it's going to end up being ridiculous. And then play Allmark and whoever 40% of the games each and give Hutton 20% or 10%, something like that, and just get through your season. I think if they play a condensed schedule, rest is going to be key. You're going to want to rest your goalies, and you're going to want to make use of that practice squad, just rotating guys in and out, keeping guys fresh.
It's interesting you mentioned doing a 3 goalie rotation. That is interesting. I feel like that could definitely help with this condensed schedule coming up, and Hutton just has not been Sabres need. They don't have that. Allmark has been solid, but the rest of it, there's no confidence in net there. And condensed season, more back-to-back games, you need to have at least 2 solid goaltenders.
Oh yeah.
What do you guys think of the goalie situation, between Allmark and Hutton?
The whole goaltending situation.
mhm.
You can go. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, so it's not great. I mean, Allmark last year, he was fine at 5-on-5. His special teams, both of them were awful on the penalty kill last year. This year, it's kind of changed a little. They're much better on the PK, but they're not as good at 5-on-5. They both let in a bunch of soft goals. I will say the game in New Jersey that Hutton just got ragged for, that game was not his fault. But there's been many other times this season where, he just lets in a soft goal, and it's been a backbreaker. Allmark lets in seems to let in a soft goal every game. But I feel like in Buffalo we kind of have a history of that. Robin Leonard, he had the highest high danger save percentage in the league when he was here, but his low danger save percentage was really low. He let in all the soft goals and all the goals he should have had no chance of stopping. He stopped. And Ryan Miller was known for making spectacular saves and letting in a soft goal or two. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, but the way this team is playing and the way they just aren't scoring, you can't be letting in those soft goals and expect to win.
Yeah, there has been quite a few goals this season that are just you need a save there and it gets by them. And Allmark's been solid in my opinion. I think he's obviously deserving of the starting role, and Carter Hutton is just, you kind of had hope. You kind of had a lot of hope for him this season. You heard he had eye issues last season. You kind of maybe drew it up to that. He went and got that rehabbed. He said he came back. He's 100%. He's doing better now, and the results are not there still. Yeah. So it is really concerning.
Yeah. At least he stopped giving up the shorthanded goals. Carter Hutton had the lowest power play save percentage in the league last year.
Interesting. I didn't know that stat.
Yeah. I think he gave up 5 shorthanded goals last year. I think most of the ones they gave up were with him in that.
Wow. Well, I don't know. We can hope for the best. I don't know. I've heard multiple times. You keep hearing it. Kevin Adams is still looking at goalies, potential trade partners. We haven't really heard anything too progressive on that. Nothing too close to a deal. But you got to kind of do something now. It's condensed season, running at a time. You got to figure it out.
Well, it's tough too because I feel like most teams are gonna hold on to their cards until the deadline. Columbus needs to move a goalie, but they'll wait till the deadline or they'll wait till the off season right before the expansion draft.
Yeah.
Vegas,
the issue with the trading, how long it takes for players to now, like we saw with Laine Dubois, how long did it take them to actually play the team?
Yeah, well, that was with crossing the border. I think if you trade within the country, but yeah, that's the thing is as far as
I assume they'd have a bit. I don't know what the exact rules are on the states to states, but.
Yeah, I know the long quarantine is between the U.S. and Canada, but it's well, if you have an immediate need in your U.S. team, you're not going to trade with a Canadian team and vice versa because I need a player now. I'm not going to wait a week or two to get him in the fold.
Yeah, it does interfere with quite a bit, and you don't have time to wait. You really don't.
Yeah.
What would the if the Sabres needed a third goalie, who would it be?
Johansson.
As in a third goalie, or as if they were going to trade for?
During the season, if they need to get a third goalie, who would their third goalie be?
I think the only option would be Johansson. I mean, you're not going to call Lukanen up yet. I think you wait. If
No.
he's going to get a look with the Sabres, it's next year.
Yeah.
Tokarski's an AHL goaltender. I think that's really your only option. Is the three they're with right now.
I would probably even go UPL before Tokarski, but I don't think it's gonna get that far. I think it's gonna be Johansson all the way, and like with that game, he came in, he didn't play bad, but he's an AHL goalie too. He hasn't looked good in the preseason. He didn't look good in NHL action last year. Like, if I was Kevin Adams, I would have been on the phone the second Carter Hutton went out of that game and got another goalie just in case. But I think they're probably stuck with those three: Ullmark, Hutton, and then Johansson for the bulk of the season.
I would think so. Unless they make a move, I don't see them.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to see Ranta. I just don't think Arizona's motivated to trade him yet. Fleury, I just don't think will work because of the cap, which, there's things you can maneuver with the cap, but I just don't see it happening. And even, Aaron Dell would have been really nice to get Aaron Dell, but Jersey put the claim on him. Even if the Sabres put a claim in, they would have beaten the Sabres claim. But now that teams know that if I put a goalie on waivers, he's going to get claimed. Nobody's going to put a goalie on waivers. They're all going to just carry three goalies rather than send someone down and risk losing them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're set for now. So.
Yeah, I hope when the Sabres come back, they can just play a good game and be able to win the game, and hopefully they can get a win streak going once they start back up.
Yeah, they'll need some wins here to catch up. They're going to be down a few games, and obviously everyone plays the same amount of games at the end of the season. But when you're looking up at a big climb to get up, it's going to be a lot more difficult than if you can get some wins right off the bat when you get back to the running.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting that you say everyone plays the same number of games at the end of the season, because this might actually, just because of COVID, be the one season that might not be true. But it's like,
it'd be interesting if that
just
cause a lot of debate and controversy.
Yeah, I mean, it could come down to point percentage. So I think they just need to come back and just focus. Kruger said at the beginning of the year, well, we want to win more of these 8-game sets than we lose, which is like, well, duh. But I think you really just need to focus on that. Like, you have eight games against the Caps. You already lost 3 of them.
Yeah.
So you have 4 more. You need to sweep that remaining 4. Philly, you split with Philly. You need to win at least 3 of your remaining 6 against them, and just go down the line. If you can come out over 500 in each of those 7 8-game sets, you still have a chance at the playoffs. You just gotta take it one game, one weekend, one road trip at a time.
Yeah, 100% agree. It's going to be a grind. They're really going to have to come together here and just work. And you don't have a lot of turnaround between games now. So yeah, getting the most out of each 8 matchups with each team is going to be huge.
Yeah, player rotation will be, like I said, will be huge. I think it's they really need to take a look at guys like Will Borgen, Arturo's to line in, just like see what these young guys can bring. And like I said, you're going to have to be rotating players in and out too. That these young rested players might bring a nice infusion of life into the lineup. And then you can still rotate your guys like, which I love Kyle Okposo. I don't need him in the lineup anymore. He's just a shell of his former self. But you know what? Like, if he plays once every fifth or sixth game, just for the sake of rotating guys in and out and keeping them fresh, I can live with that. Just go with the young guys, rotate them in, keep them fresh. And like I said, it's gonna be a grind. I know some fans already want them to throw in the towel and tank again, which is
seems most of them
ridiculous.
Yeah,
ridiculous at this point of the season. But yeah, you just take it one game at a time, and you know what? If you're out of it at the trade deadline, then you flip Taylor Hall and you flip all your expiring contracts. Who else is that? Eakin, Reader maybe. You flip them all for some picks, some prospects, and then reload for next year. But until then, you just take it one game at a time.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching this episode of Let's Talk 716 Sports, and thank you to my special guests, Steve, Pellegrino, and Tom Pepper, and go Sabres.
Thank you.